The headlines. Terrorists storm Katsina community, abduct over 30 residents. Court nullifies 800 billion naira Rivers State budget passed by pro-Fubara lawmakers. Reaction trail proposed movement of Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria headquarters from Abuja to Lagos. Dozens buried, 8 killed in Southwest China landslide. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. We start with developments in Katsina as terrorists have reportedly stormed Tashar Nagule, a community in Basari local government area of Katsina State, abducting 31 residents on Sunday. Basari has seen a resurgence in terrorist activities in recent weeks, featuring twin attacks on security formations this past week. In one of the attacks, 2 mobile police officers were killed by terrorists who burnt down 2 vehicles belonging to the Nigerian army. The police in Katsina State is yet to comment on the incident. A little earlier, Abdurrahman Umar spoke to our reporter in Katsina, Abdullahi Ahmed, who gave an update on the situation.
Well, at the moment, the number has risen to 33 people that were abducted from Tashar Nagule in Bazari local government. And like you said, the attackers kept their motorcycles some kilometers away from the community before they went into the village and launched that attack. According to reports from some of the villagers who spoke to Trust TV this afternoon, they said the attackers kept their motorcycles at a point near Kurumiel, all in Bazari local government here in Katsina State. And one thing people need to know is that Katsina Bazari Road has been one of the notorious routes in Katsina State. Just a few days ago, when some terrorists who dressed in this abaya attacked a police checkpoint where they killed 2 policemen. And just of recent, they attacked a military base at Dansunsu and Nahuta, all in Bazari local government. So this is one of the daily occurrence as far as terrorism or banditry is concerned here in Katsina State.
Now, and we understand the security agencies as of yet have not said anything concerning to react on the incident.
Well, of course, I have made several attempts to reach the public relations officer of Katsina State Police Command, but he has not been responding to my calls. And according to some of the villagers, they decry the inaction of the police, or rather the security operatives operating around that area, whom they say they have made distress calls to them, but they responded hours after the attack. So this is one of the things that many people have been complaining about. Anytime there is any attack in any community, this issue of inaction and not responding on good time is one of the major constraints.
All right, Amadi. So even at the time when it happened, the prior attacks that this number of bandits were attacking joint military camp in Katsina State, were there any visible moves you have seen so far that made them in order to curtail and prevent such kind of occurrence of bandits coming in and out of Zamfara, attacking military joint as well as residents of that local government?
Well, 2 hours after the Nahuta attack, where bandits numbering about 500 invaded Nahuta village, cut away a number of valuables, displaced residents, and of course, wrestled about 300 cows. We learned that there was a deployment of some security personnel at the community and some other villages along Basari Katsina roads with the support of other equipment like armored personnel carrier. But yet this thing still continue to escalate. It continue to persist because what the villagers have been saying is not the issue of military or the personnel that are there, but what can they do to protect them from this bandits attack? That is the question. So long as there are equipment, there are personnel, but they cannot protect the villages and the communities, it makes nothing. It makes no difference.
Abdullahi Yamadi there earlier speaking with Abdurrahman Umar, providing context on the recent attack by bandits in Basari local government area of Katsina. Still talking security, the Kaduna State government has confirmed the death of one person after an explosion in Kidandan community of Giwa local government area of the state on Sunday. 10 children were injured following the explosion suspected to be from an improvised explosive device. According to preliminary reports from the traditional institution and security agencies, one of the pupils of a local cleric picked up an unidentified object from the bush, which later exploded. Meanwhile, a statement by Samuel Aron, the overseeing commissioner, Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, says one pupil has been confirmed dead, while about 10 others have various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving medical attention at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Shika. The statement, according to Aron, further stated that the Kaduna State Governor has directed the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs to liaise with the security agencies for an urgent investigation into the cause of the explosion and to ensure the safety of residents, mobilize emergency support and ensure prompt medical attention to the victims. Tragedy struck Ungwar Tandu village of Karu local government area of Nasarawa state after 3 persons excavating and loading sand were involved in a fatal accident. Deputy Chairman of the Tipper Union and Quarry Employers in the area confirmed this development to newsmen shortly after the burial rites of the 3 members. Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented from our studio.
The Deputy Chairman of the Union of Tipper and Quarry Employees, Aminu Sanusi, said 4 persons, Dauda Umaru, Abdullahi Ayawa and Zakaria Musa, were the victims of the incident, adding that one of them, Muhammad Nasru, survived and is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. He disclosed that the deceased were excavating sand at the site in Ungwantandu, few kilometers to Kefi but located in Karu local government, when the sand slide and covered them. Sanusi further explained that the dead bodies were later recovered after engaging the service of an excavator. Members of the union with support of villagers dug out the 2 corpses manually, while an excavator removed the 3rd one. He said the recovered bodies have been buried in line with Islamic religious rite. A relative of one of the deceased, who is also workers at the site, was lucky to have escaped the incident. He expressed shock at the incident. While we were loading the sand into the truck, we had a loud shout calling for help, that the sand was falling. We all attempted to go out, but Daudu and the other 2 were unfortunately buried under the sand. I've never felt as unhappy as I feel now that I'm talking to you. While as Muslim that believes in Allah, I reckon that what happened has already been destined by God. According to them, the incident threw people at the site and the community into mourning. On whether any government agency came to the rescue of the victims, an officer of the State Fire Service who spoke to Trust TV on condition of anonymity said the service has not been informed about the incident but heard for the first time from Trust TV correspondent.
Quite a tragedy. Now, officials of the Lagos State Building Control Agency on Monday began the immediate clearing of shop extensions that hinder big fire trucks gaining access to the scene of fire accidents that gutted the Mandela building in Broad Street in Lagos Island area of the state. And A2 Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu Jibril Gawat made this known in an update on the incident. He also said the fire had been completely put out. First responders are still on ground to provide services. Road cordoned off and alternative roads are being well managed by officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, among others. The fire gutted a warehouse in the 14-story building on Sunday, with goods worth hundreds of millions of naira destroyed. No casualty has been recorded. Staying in Lagos, the state government has sealed the Oke-Afa market, Isolo and Kantagua market, Abulegba, for violating waste disposal regulations and for sundry unhygienic practices around the markets. The Director of Public Affairs of the Lagos State Waste Management Agency, Folashade Kadiri, who disclosed this in a statement on Monday, says the closure of the markets is to curb mounting environmental health concerns. Commenting on the development, Folashade says the Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources noted that the government's zero tolerance for waste initiative, which started last year, was still on, stressing that any market or facility engaging in reckless waste disposal will be sanctioned. The Managing Director and CEO of Loma, Muyiwa Badegbesing, urged various market executives to always mobilize their members to abide by waste management regulations in Lagos, including the use of the double Dino bins provided for the markets and observance of hygienic habits in their activities. He also warned that there will be zero tolerance being pursued vigorously this year, adding that markets that refuse to embrace basic and decent waste disposal practices will not escape sanctions. Well, the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday voided and set aside the presentation of a passage of the 2024 budget for Rivers State by a 4-member legislature in the state. The court, in a judgment delivered by Justice James Omotosho, ordered that Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State represent the budget to the legally constituted House of Assembly under Speaker Martins Ameule. Here's a report.
Justice Omotosho quashed the withholding of the House of Assembly funds on the ground that the governor had no constitutional power to do so. The court restrained Governor Fubara from frustrating the House of Assembly under Ameule from seating or interfering in the affairs of the House, and also declared the redeployment of the clerk and deputy clerk as null and void. The Inspector General of Police was ordered to immediately give adequate security to the Speaker and legislators loyal to former Governor Nyesom Wike. Justice Omotosho ordered the clerk and the deputy clerk to resume office immediately and unhindered. The National Assembly, according to the judgment, is barred from taking over the Rivers State House of Assembly or accepting or treating any request from Governor Fubara.
The governor, his lordship in clear terms, declared that as of today, the National Assembly do not have any reason or justification to take over the constitutional functions of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So they cannot exercise such powers, and he restrained them. Okay? Secondly, the court equally stated clearly that all acts done by the governor, the 11 defendants, the Attorney General and Rivers State government, while this suit was pending, and after he had made an order on the 30th day of November 2023, were a nullity, including proceedings wherein the governor had purported to have presented to 4 members of the House, led by Honorable Edison.
Governor Fubara was ordered to release all money standing in the credit of the House of Assembly to Martin Ameule.
In a similar development, the 16 members of the Plateau State House of Assembly who were sacked by the Court of Appeal have vowed to return to the House despite the appeal court judgment that nullified their election victories. The lawmakers were sacked on the grounds of their party lacking a structure to sponsor candidates in the last general elections. The sacked lawmakers disclosed this on Monday during a press briefing in Jos, the state capital. They were led by Ishaku Mareng. The sacked lawmakers also argued that the Supreme Court judgment, which validated the election of Governor Caleb Mutfwang, had also qualified them to remain as members of the Plateau State House of Assembly. The lawmakers say they would resume sitting at the House on Tuesday, when the House is expected to reconvene after a 2-month recess. This is Trust TV News Update. Coming up ahead, Niger communities sue federal government over unpaid compensation. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at the top stories. Terrorists storm Katsina community, abducting 30 residents. Court nullifies 800 billion naira rivers budget earlier passed by pro-Fubara lawmakers. Now, reactions are trailing the plan by the federal government to relocate the headquarters of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria and some departments of the Central Bank of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos. A memo conveying the FAN decision indicated that the decision was meant to help curb the waste of public resources and enhance efficiency in government. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail spoke to some Nigerians in Abuja on the development and sent in this report.
The public debate began when the Central Bank of Nigeria said it will transfer some of its departments to the country's commercial capital, Lagos. Within the same week, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAN was directed to relocate its headquarters from Abuja to Lagos. Nigerians have received these decisions with mixed feelings and given the proposal different interpretations.
I say the development for me is encouraging. Why I'm saying it is that there are some people working reside in Lagos, but they are working in Abuja. Their families are there. They find it difficult of going and coming.
I don't think it's a bad idea, decentralizing certain powers. We're talking of Nigeria. They didn't move it out of Nigeria, you know. So what I think is decentralizing certain powers will also create further employment.
For all those people thinking that he's trying to move some of the offices out from the north, no, that is, for me, I think is wrong statement for them.
While some Nigerians support the relocation of some departments of the CBN and the Federal Airport Authority from Abuja to Lagos, others shared the sentiments of the Arewa Consultative Forum, which described the move as a deliberate plot against the northern region.
It's part of, how to tackle or to block some part of Nigeria as not as concerned, because they did not did it. So he came, he made a lot of problem in the country.
The Federal Capital Territory is resided in Abuja. There is no means of taking one part of the CBN to the Lagos, since it's not the federal capital of Nigeria.
Better to leave this fund and that CBN in this federal capital. Anybody you want to work with any state in Nigeria, you come to Abuja to work.
The Federal Airport Authority said it will relocate its headquarters to reduce costs and prevent the rot of funds abandoned building in Lagos, among others. While the CBN reportedly said the reason for this action is to decongest its headquarters in Abuja. Speaking on Trust TV's morning show, Daybreak, a veteran journalist, Suleiman Ubagaya, cast suspicion on the real motive behind the relocation of the said organizations.
Unfortunately, just about 7 months after taking over power, we are seeing the manifestations of the same rumor that started 14 months ago. It was denied, like I said, on the 30th of November, and now it's taking a life of its own. It started with the CBN, relocating almost half of its staff to Lagos.
However, there are still some Nigerians who believe that this is going to be in the good interest of the country, while others are aligning fears that this is just part of a hidden agenda from the Tinubu administration to weaken the North. Whether the president has a different plan of relocating the nation's capital from Abuja to Lagos, time shall tell. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, Danu and Jimu communities of Ushishi local government area of Niger State have dragged the federal government, the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission and the Ministry of Justice, as well as Power, before the Niger State High Court for over alleged unpaid compensation for the damages done to them by the construction of the dam. The National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission is the first defendant in the suit, while the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Federal Ministry of Power are second and third respondents respectively. The communities are demanding for a 2 billion naira compensation from the Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission as well as the federal government. Counsel to the communities, Kabiru Bala Ibrahim, told the court the two communities with about 3,000 residents were directly affected by the construction of the Zungeru Hydroelectric Power Dam but were excluded from the compensation process. Justice Muhammad later adjourned the matter to February 8, 2024 for continuation. The federal government's budget deficit is on track to widen as the electricity subsidy to be incurred by the federal government this year has more than doubled following last week's suspension of tariff hikes for consumers. The 28.8 trillion naira budget for this year has a deficit of 9.8 trillion naira, which will be financed mainly by new borrowings. Data from the new tariff plan for the 11 electricity distribution companies in the country show that the federal government would pay 1.67 trillion naira as electricity subsidy in the year 2024, even though the Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading PLC's budget only showed a subsidy plan of 450 billion naira. Now, the 2024 electricity subsidy is 170% higher than the 619 billion naira reportedly paid last year. Further breakdown shows that the customers of Ikeja Disco will benefit the most from the plan, with around 238 billion naira earmarked as subsidies, which is up from 77.41 billion naira reportedly paid in 2023. This is closely followed by Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, which is projected to receive around 233 billion naira as electricity subsidy. Now, Yola Electricity Distribution Company has the least amount of subsidy with just 64.48 billion naira earmarked, as opposed to 45.95 billion naira reportedly paid as subsidy last year. Analysts say the problem with the plan is not only its lack of viability, but also that it may be the starting point for another expensive subsidy regime. On the international scene, dozens of people were buried and 8 confirmed killed when a landslide struck a remote and mountainous part of southwestern China on Monday. Chinese state media says the pre-dawn landslide buried 18 homes and sparked the evacuation of more than 200 people when it struck in Zhejiang County in Yunnan Province. 8 people have been confirmed dead, while rescuers have extracted 4, according to a report by state broadcaster CCTV. 200 rescue workers have been dispatched, as well as dozens of fire engines and other equipment, according to reports. Footage shown on social media by local broadcasters shows emergency workers forming ranks outside a fire station as snowflakes whirled through the air. Other images show rescuers picking through towering piles of collapsed masonry in which a few personal belongings could be seen. Chinese President Xi Jinping ordered an, quote, all-out rescue effort to properly handle the work of comforting the families of the deceased and resettling affected persons. Talking sports now, Nigeria's Premier League side Sunshine Stars have sacked their head coach, Edith Ogoye. The Owena Waves asked the former Shooting Stars coach to step aside from his position on Monday. Now, the club have penciled down Kennedy Boboye, Duke Odi, and Deji Ayemi as possible replacements. Ogoye was sacked following his side's 1-0 loss away to Kwara United at the Kwara Sports Complex in Ilorin on Saturday. Sunshine Stars currently occupy the 12th position in the log. The Akure club have recorded 5 wins, 7 defeats and 7 draws in the campaign. A change in the technical department is a move to hold the club's dwindling performance in the Professional Football League. Well, that's all the news at this hour. Follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our contents. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching.